Ladies and gentlemen, this is your final first round bout of the King of Sparta welterweights. So I need you to get wild!
Hey, he's getting into it, isn't he?
Introducing first, fighting out of the dynamic Margie to red corner, Hayward, the Hyper Charles!
Hayward Charles out of Hybrid Nation, another good gym. You see him coming in at 6'1", boxing both debuts. Listen, when 10 grand's on the line, JR, you're going to see some debut fighters that normally have different styles.
Yes, and Hayward Charles, primarily an MMA fighter, runs his own gym. 30 years old, facing off against the 33-year-old Steele McCall. Both these guys pretty even in height. Mixed style for Mr. Charles, BJJ and kickboxing, so basically also mixed style for Steele McCall. And Hayward Charles with a longer pro record. Steele McCall coming in with 11 fights, but McCall, I've had the opportunity, fortunately, to watch almost his entire career.
Oh, you have seen him?
Amateur and professional, and he is just a stud. I'm so happy he got the call to be in this tournament.
Well, listen, with a name like Steele McCall, either you're a linebacker or you're fighting.
Yes,
you're not going to be a ballet dancer with the name Steele McCall.
Yes, indeed. And Hayward Charles, man, he is so fun to watch. One of the few guys that Ian Heinisch has not been able to finish.
Really?
So I watched him. He did not win his fight against Heinisch, but my goodness, did he look good in that fight. So.
And that's saying something.
Yeah, for sure.
Ian Heinisch now up to number 16 in the world, and the Hurricane was supposed to fight at UFC London. His opponent backed out at the last minute, an hour before the fight with anxiety, but he'll now be matched up in his next UFC fight. Got another contract. He'll fight the 12th ranked fighter in the world. So Ian Heinisch, who started his pro career in the Sparta Combat League, moving up the ranks, very familiar. He's become a good friend of mine.
Yep, and we, it was at the Budweiser Event Center where we got to see him fight Mr. Hayward Charles. That's where we got to see them do their work. And Charles, like I said, he's just a tough guy to put away for anybody.
The fact that you told me that the Hurricane could not put this guy away automatically gets me ready for this one, because
next up,
that doesn't happen very
fighting
often.
out of the Larry Miller Nissan on 104th, blue corner, Steele McCall.
All right, JR, you said you had the 401 Steele McCall. He looks tough. He looks like a linebacker or a fighter.
He is super tough. You nailed it right there. As tough as Mr. McCall is, he brings just as much skill into the cage. He's one of those guys that is a lifelong martial artist, surrounds himself with really good people, always doing training with other top-notch athletes, and it's just a pleasure, like I said, to see the fact that he got the call for this tournament.
This is the fourth and final boxing match of the night, and then we'll turn our attention to MMA after that. And we also got some Muay Thai with Nikola Jokic's younger brother on the card tonight, the Joker, one of the MVP candidates in the NBA, leading the Nuggets on the run. His younger brother on the card tonight.
Nice.
But as for this one, Hayward Charles and Steele McCall looking to advance into that semifinal of this round of King of Sparta at 170 pounds.
Our fighters first fighting out of the dynamic Margie red corner from Avon, Colorado, representing Hybrid Nation MMA, Hayward, the Hyper Charles. And fighting out of the Larry Miller Nissan on 104th, blue corner from Denver, Colorado, representing Denver Thai Boxing, pound for pound fitness, and the compound, Steele McCall.
All right, here comes the instructions for the fellas.
Gentlemen, you've had your final instructions. Protect yourself at all times. Obey my commands at all times. Any questions? Any questions? Touch them up. Back to your corners, please.
Excuse me, Gilbert Jamal Smith in the corner of Hayward Charles, a former UFC and Bellator fighter himself, so strong corner there.
Yeah, and a corner can make a difference especially in a fight where perhaps it's boxing. So whatever help that you can give your corner, JR, to give you any kind of advantage is going to help.
Yep, and across the cage, Justin Houghton in the corner of Steele McCall. And he's a former Bellator fighter and a current Glory fighter, so a lot of talent surrounding the ring here.
Yeah, a lot of Glory kickboxers in Denver as well. I had the opportunity to see it last time Glory was in town. A lot of local fighters with the opportunity there. Hayward Charles up against the rope, taking an uppercut there from McCall. And Steele giving it to him. Steele's kind of pressing forward and using that weight to lean on him.
Absolutely. Good shoulder pressure by McCall once he gets his opponent backed up against the ring, and then going to work low down on the body, although I see right now the corner of McCall saying lengthen it out a little bit, and he did that. He stepped back and
got a shot off.
Power shot.
Yeah, and the one thing too about it, JR, is when you're getting these fighters in this tournament, boxing is not necessarily their strength, so it's interesting to watch it develop as the rounds go on.
And as we see more and more of these tournaments coming along, we're going to see more fighters that are getting ready for these, and so we're going to see those skill sets in the other styles that they're not primarily based in start to come up.
Hayward Charles
really building better athletes.
Yeah, Hayward Charles' head just snapped back on an uppercut right now, and he's done a lot of covering up in this first round and having a hard time really getting out of the pressure.
Yeah, really not able to get his punches off, is Charles.
I don't know that he's thrown many. I mean, maybe 6 or 7. He finally pushes off there. There's a couple jabs, trying to keep that distance there. Steele steps in with the right hand, goes to the body now, try to get that combination roll, and again into the corner is Hayward Charles, and it's not where he wants to be.
No, Charles doing a lot of letting himself be backed into the corner.
That's low.
And
warning about low blows.
Warning about the low blow. Gotta keep it basically belly button and above.
Straight punch.
Fight, baby, for life.
Needs to be a t-shirt, right?
Yeah, absolutely. He's still a lot of
Back up.
big overhand shot. Oh yeah, that one connected too. Charles comes off the ropes trying to recover from that one.
McCall saw it coming. And again, Charles just not doing what I would call good ring management here. Needs to keep himself off the ropes and out of the corner. Of course, that's easy for me to say from behind the microphone.
Well, it's always easier to Monday morning quarterback.
Yeah, hey, I'm undefeated from behind the mic.
Absolutely. And again, Steele's bothering him. Charles is covering up a lot. I don't know if he's waiting for him to maybe wear down. Is that a strategy?
Hard to say. 10-second clacker sounded, so we're going to get to see round 2 of what's potentially a 4-round fight.
Charles at all
Ladies and gentlemen, that Wayne's barbecue is still warm and still in the concession stand.
And that shows the toughness right off the top, but expecting a little more on the attack side.
Yeah, he's really got to listen to what his cornermen are telling him, and I can almost guarantee it's some version of you need more offense.
Be busier.
You have to get your hands moving. So if his strategy was to let McCall be the busier fighter and punch himself out, well, you did 1 round of that, and it's time to go, man. And checking out the replay here, and like we talked about time and time again, every time that he had himself backed into the corner, McCall able to use that good shoulder and head pressure and just go to work with his hands, and basically McCall able to corral his opponent for pretty much like 2/3 of the round.
I'm really trying to find the strategy of the round, and maybe it'll play out here. Let's see. I don't know.
Yes, beautiful.
Charles knows that he's got to be busier now. Charles, big
Charles
overhand
is
there.
busier.
Yeah, he is busier. I don't know if he was trying to feel out Steele McCall in that first round or what his strategy was, but he's flicking out that left-hand jab a little more active.
Circle. There you go. There you go. Keep him in there.
Body, touch the body.
Yeah, Steele, I need more than one now.
Steele again comes up with the overhand right. Hayward Charles comes off the ropes, digging to the body.
Yeah, McCall putting more power into those strikes when he's got his opponent cornered now.
And again, one thing in boxing, got to have that clean break, and holding and hitting is not what you can do in boxing. That's what's different.
Yeah, in fact, McCall got away with a little bit there just a moment ago, looping around the neck and steering his opponent into the corner.
A little overhand right there by Hayward. Hayward absorbed an overhand right, that is. And again, and Steele's putting some pressure on the back of his neck as well, JR, kind of pulling down and maybe getting away with a little something. Corner call for the body. Hayward Charles comes off the ropes, throws that right hand, but he gets off the ropes.
And what Charles needs to be real careful of here is backing up with his chin straight up in the air. He did it a moment ago as he was getting pushed into the corner. He just lifted his chin straight up.
Did it again, yeah. And that's been one of the things now, going to the body now up top again by Steele. Steele McCall.
1-2.
Corner calling for that left hook, and there he goes to the left, and again gets him into the corner, and that's where the danger has been, JR. Dig into the body and then going back upstairs.
We talked about how nice it is to have a corner man, a second set of eyes on the fight. The corner was saying, bring him over to our corner, and that's exactly what McCall has done. They are here in the corner of Steele McCall, and he can listen to the instructions, and it's so advantageous to have a second and third set of eyes on the fight.
Distance. Get your distance.
All right, starting this now under about 45 seconds to go in this third round now.
Good. Get in there now.
Oh, second round, right, JR? Second round, sir.
Distance.
Fourth fight of the night. You see McCall now trying to pick his shots. I think he's dominated. I thought that
Get some space.
Hayward came out with a little more at the beginning of this round, but he just isn't able to find the reach. He can't find that touch.
Yeah, the first couple combinations, the first few flurries that Charles put out showed us that he'd taken some good instruction in his corner there. But
yeah, and he's taking some big lefts too right now.
One-way traffic for Steele McCall here later on in the round, and just going at the 10-second clacker like he was working on a heavy bag.
Yeah, McCall's definitely been the busier fighter, and that left hook is really coming in. You see a little bit of a mouse over the right eye of
Breckenridge
Hayward Charles.
Distillery
As
is
you said,
still
the
the
tough guy
official
to finish.
bourbon of Sparta Combat League.
And Charles has to be thinking a little bit now, you know, hey, I have to be down, or at least his corner ought to be telling him you're down 2 rounds.
Right.
You got 2 rounds to go. If you want it to be a draw, you have to win the next 2 rounds. You know, much less to win the fight. Really put a stamp on it with a 10-8 round, a knockdown, or go for knockout TKO. So, checking out the replay here, and this is where we saw McCall really putting power into it.
Dig into the body.
He called it dig into the body like he had a shovel in his hands. Man, he threw some good shots right there.
You know, and again, Jared, it all comes down to strategy. You got these guys this is the 4th and final fight of the King of Sparta for the boxing portion of it. LT Nelson has been the one that got out the quickest at about 1:32. And then we had a second knockout, and that was by Pitcher. Those are probably the fresher of the fighters. And now we have this third fight here, and let's see what goes on in this third round of this final 4th fight.
There we go. Distance. Ray. Go right back at it.
And we'll say for McCall,
Circle.
even though he's going into the third round here, he really hasn't taken much in the way of anything in the way of damage.
No punishment.
So
There you go.
that plays into his favor for sure. Should he be the one that advances?
Back, turn. Straight right to the body.
I mean, Hayward is put together. Hayward Charles is a guy that's put together. I mean, you can obviously tell that he's tough, but, you know, Steele McCall has been just the busier fighter, the aggressive fighter, more power punches. He's shown the ability to both go downstairs then upstairs.
Yeah, I follow Mr. Charles on Facebook, and he's one of those guys that his posts are typically about his training and about what it is that he's doing in the gym and the kind of time and the work that he's putting in. But, you know, living the life of a martial artist. It's truly what this guy does. It shows in his physique and his conditioning for sure, but
boxing's a different animal.
Yeah, boxing not what he's going to the gym and doing primarily.
Pitcher jabbing, and like Pitcher won the last fight, and Steele McCall in that same corner seems to be like the lucky corner now because it's the busier corner for sure.
And McCall starting to see his targets pretty easily here now. You can tell he's picking his targets.
Yeah, that overhand right was a nice shot by McCall, and again, upper hand left and an overhand right follows.
Yeah, the overhand right to follow was very nice.
Yeah, Steele McCall starting to put his punches together and digging to the body and really showing the ability. And when you do that, you can hurt a fighter both ways. That's when you're dangerous.
Distance, Hayward, distance.
About a minute left to go here in the third round.
There.
But you're right about Hayward Charles. I mean, God, the guy's tough. I mean, because he's taking some major shots.
I don't know if you caught it. There's just a big smile from Charles there again. Another one of those guys that is standing there tonight because this is what he loves to do.
Straight, 2 after that.
Charles backing up with a hook. 35 seconds to go in this round. But McCall goes to the body. Steele McCall now going back upstairs and turning Charles around.
There we go. There we
And the
go.
defense of McCall, too, tonight, just really been on point. And he's managing his defense in a number of ways. Glove position, footwork, shoulder position, and managing the distance. So McCall just really doing a nice job of minimizing the damage that he's taking.
You know, and we talk about being able to try to finish your opponent to move on in this tournament, but JR, you bring up an excellent point that although it has been now 3 rounds, he's very fresh. He hasn't taken, I mean, I don't know if he's even
The
taken
official bourbon of Sparta
medium
Combat League
style punch.
is Breckenridge
Yeah, certainly
Distillery.
nothing that's, made him step back or snap his head around or staggered his footwork or anything. So if you're in the corner of Charles, you're playing on his emotions now. You're telling, hey, 10 grand's on the line. You got to go out there and do this. You have to finish this fight. That's
Right.
the only way that you're going to advance in this tournament.
Well, I don't know how many punches he's thrown, JR, but it's got to be 7-1.
Yeah.
7-8-1.
And we're seeing it here on the replay. A little bit of work early in the round being shown there from Charles, and then they tie up, and it's McCall again able to steer him around the ring and put together those combinations. You said it, he's starting to get his hands going. He's putting his combinations together. See if McCall comes out and tries to go for a finish
Got to give it
on the round here, or if he's just going to knowingly coast, know that hey, he doesn't have to pour out a ton of energy.
Well, he's got to me, he's won all 3 rounds.
Yeah,
I mean, he's won all 3 rounds of this fight, and Hayward Charles has shown every bit of the toughness that you talked about, JR, and one of the reasons that Ian Heinisch never finished him is he's a tough guy to finish, and that's what McCall's trying to do right now, going to the body.
He needs space for power.
There you go.
He ain't got no legs. Stay on it.
Go, let go. Last round.
McCall patient, picking his spots now, and again, I think a combination, JR, really patient, but still attacking.
Yeah, it's just really nice measured pace is how I would put it. Not something that is going to wear him out, not where he's going to empty his gas tank, but he's certainly staying busy enough that he knows that he's keeping ahead of his opponent.
Well, and there you see, Cardinal, so you don't see it much in boxing where you make a complete 360. You don't turn your back to an opponent. You don't see it. You see it in kickboxing. You see it in MMA. You don't see it in boxing.
And you can see Charles there trying to set up his combinations, but he's a little bit fatigued. He's taking a lot of body shots, and he has to stop and think about it. And in boxing, if you have to stop and think, it's too late.
Yeah, it is too late. McCall right now is dominating the round. He's picking his shots, and he's done what he's wanted to do. So if you drop a game plan, JR, and you're executing your game plan, everything but taking him out early has worked.
And that puts you into the locker room really happy. You're like, hey, I did exactly what I want. It's a mental boost.
Absolutely.
And that's a huge part of what this tournament is the mental aspect of it. So.
And again, the way this tournament is set up in this King of Sparta tournament, you get into the next semifinal round. If you finish a fighter with kickboxing, even if you did something earlier to expend some energy, you can still save some energy in that next fight.
Agreed.
Under a minute left in this fight, and this looks like it's going to go the distance unless Steele can finish it up here, and he's coming with a combination.
Looking like he might be able to. He staggered Charles backward.
Charles taking some shots, but covering up and showing that toughness and ability to hang in there and just swinging wildly now, but Steele McCall's just been able to, the straighter punches, not wild. They're measured.
Yeah, they're technical, they're crisp, they're accurate, exactly what he wants, where he wants it.
And
25 seconds left.
And the way he works in the corners is what you pay attention to of the boxing skills, how he goes, the different angles, where it goes to the body, then an overhand right, then digs back to the body. Seconds almost out in this round.
Get in there now, get in. Fire, 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 fire.
Charles trying to put together some punches. It's going to be too little too late. I think it's a pretty easy call for the judges. Going to see this one go the way of Mr. McCall, and we believe he will be the one to advance in the tournament. We'll get to see him throw his feet into the mix, so to speak.
Yeah, the next
by
will be
so to speak, I
kickboxing.
mean literally.
Yeah. Well, and out of the 4 fights, I don't know, JR, there were two finishes and 2 that went the distance. I guess is that about what you figured? Or is it so hard to predict?
It's so tough. You know, the one thing that we knew a ton about was LT Nelson coming in, because we watched him do an entire tournament before. So it was kind of easy to see since we watched him do it before. But the rest of it, a little bit more up in the air. Although, like I said, Mr. McCall, I've seen him do a ton of work before. And I will say I'm not surprised, no matter who he had faced in this tournament, I wouldn't be surprised to see him have been the one to advance.
You told me that his toughness, you've seen a lot of his career, so he'll go to the judges' scorecard.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 4 rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards. Judge Tyrone Short scores it 40-36. Judge Tim Mills scores it 40-36. And Judge Hillel Hillsbeck scores it 40-36. Declaring your winner by unanimous decision, Steele McCall!
Well, as we thought, JR, a unanimous decision. Steele McCall did a masterful job boxing.
Yeah, that was exactly what he wanted. He did have to go 4 rounds, but he didn't expend tons of energy. He didn't really take any damage that we could ascertain. So he gets to be the one to head over and talk to Bailey winners for the little post-fight interview action. When we come back, we're going to the cage.
Going to the cage.
MMA.
I'm back here now with winner of round 1 of this King of Sparta tournament, Steele McCall. Steele, this was an interesting matchup because it was black belt versus black belt in a boxing match. How did it feel to be limited to just throwing punches tonight?
Felt good. I've been doing kickboxing and boxing for years. Obviously, I've been fighting MMA. Just dialed in my training.
You fought a lot at 155. You're fighting at 170 tonight. Do you feel comfortable at this weight class?
Absolutely. I used to fight at 170 and I dropped down to 55. I felt terrible. Tonight, I felt amazing.
Gotta help with your stamina, definitely. How do you feel cardio-wise fighting 3 fights in one night?
Cardio is my game. I'm not even breathing hard.
Congratulations on the win this first round. We'll see you next one.
Thank you.